When I walked into that courtroom, my mother rolled her eyes. My father smirked like he'd already won. They thought I was the same quiet kid they used to ignore at the dinner table, the one they left behind when things got inconvenient. But when the judge looked up from the file and frowned, I saw the first crack in their confidence. "Wait," he said, glancing between me and them. "The charges are against you?" My parents froze. They didn't know who I really was. I wasn't supposed to inherit anything, at least not according to them. My grandfather, my father's father, was a man they'd long abandoned. They called him old-fashioned, impossible, a waste of time. They left him alone in that creaking mansion with no one but me visiting on weekends. I was 16 when I started mowing his lawn, cooking his meals, fixing the things my father never cared to touch. He never said much, just watched me. But on the night of my 18th birthday, he handed me a folded document and said quietly, "You'll understand when I'm gone." I didn't, not then. When he died 3 years later, I was 21, a nobody, living in a tiny apartment, working 2 jobs to stay afloat. The will reading was a spectacle. My parents showed up dressed in black like they'd lost someone dear. The lawyer opened the envelope, cleared his throat, and read, "I leave my entire estate, including all assets, properties, and financial holdings, to my grandson, Eli Ward." My father's smile cracked. My mother gasped audibly. And I sat there, silent, while the room filled with the sound of their disbelief. They didn't call me for months after that. Not until the house transfer was complete and the bank statements started making headlines. That's when the messages began. At first, fake kindness. "We just want to talk." Then, guilt. "You wouldn't have anything if not for us." And finally, threats. "We'll take you to court if we have to." They did. Their lawyer painted me as a manipulative gold digger who took advantage of an old man's frailty. He called my parents the rightful heirs. They sat behind him dressed in sympathy. My mother dabbed fake tears. My father looked smug. What they didn't know was that I'd spent the past 6 months preparing, quietly, carefully. My grandfather was a meticulous man. He left behind more than a will. He left instructions. Every asset I inherited, every property, every account, had been legally transferred not just to my name, but into a trust. A trust I managed through my own law firm. The same firm I'd been quietly working for since my scholarship days. A firm whose senior partner owed his career to my grandfather. The lawsuit they filed? It wasn't against me. It was against the trust, a separate legal entity. Which meant, technically, I wasn't the defendant. They were suing the very structure that protected everything they wanted. And I had filed a counterclaim for defamation, harassment, and fraud, using evidence of them trying to forge my grandfather's signature months before he died. So when the judge said, "The charges are against you," it wasn't confusion, it was revelation. My parents turned to their lawyer, pale. "What's happening?" my mother whispered. But I stayed silent, watching. The judge read on, his tone hardening. "There appears to be overwhelming evidence that Mr. and Mrs. Ward attempted to falsify financial documents relating to Mr. Ward Sr.'s estate. This hearing will now proceed with them as the defendants." The silence that followed was thick enough to choke on. My father shot to his feet, shouting, "This is a setup!" The bailiff moved closer. My mother began to cry, real tears this time. I just sat there, calm, steady. When it was over, the judge ruled in my favor. Their lawsuit was dismissed. My counterclaim was upheld. And they were ordered to pay all legal fees from the estate they'd tried to steal. The irony wasn't lost on me. Outside, the press waited. My father stormed past the cameras, silent and red-faced. My mother wouldn't look at me. She just whispered, "You're not the person we raised." I met her eyes and said, "No, I'm the person you left behind." That night, I drove to my grandfather's old house, my house now. The wind rattled the windows, the same way it had when I was a kid doing homework in the kitchen while he read the paper. On the mantel sat the pocket watch he used to carry. I wound it once, listened to it tick, and smiled. They thought money would make me weak. They thought love, withheld long enough, would keep me begging. But I learned early, silence is stronger than noise. Patience is sharper than anger. And the best revenge isn't destroying someone. It's standing in the light they swore you'd never reach, and watching them crumble in the shadow of their own greed.